Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the rainy Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be what your silence means to the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So as you can tell, it's raining out, and rain is something that I love. It's beautiful to be out in the elements. It's a fun experience for me, but rain is something that was taken away from me post-discard. I didn't enjoy the weather at all. But now I'm back and I'm creating a video soaking wet for you. So let's jump in. Why your silence? What your silence means to the narcissist. It means that you have healed or you are healing. It means that you now understand who they are. You have identified that this individual is a toxic person and that they never had your interest at heart. They never had your best interest at heart or anything in your favor. What they wanted to do was to extract your resources from you. This is what I share on the channel virtually every day. The narcissist wants to take, and when they're done, they want to take more. This is how the narcissist goes from person to person, relationship to relationship throughout their life, taking advantage of unsuspecting individuals, people who don't know their worth, people who don't know their value, people who don't know what narcissism is, people that are being duped and tricked and trapped and manipulated. This is why the narcissist wears a mask many times, not always, but many times. They infiltrate your life under cloak and dagger. They play the victim card and will say things like, oh, you have it so much better than me. If you just help me out a little bit, just put a roof over my head for a little bit, I can get a head start and I can get on my feet again. Or if you'll just help me create a business, or if you'll offer your resources so I can get a head start. This is exactly what they do. And what do they do after that? Well, they get very cocky, they get arrogant, and they believe that what you have should be theirs. That is why the narcissist has you fall in love with them, or has you believe that they did have your best interest at heart. And back then, when you were in the narcissistic relationship, I can assure you a few things. One, you were oversharing because you believed that that person had your best interest at heart and they didn't. Number two, you most likely were a people pleaser or an empath or a kind, loving individual. Maybe you didn't have boundaries. Maybe you believed that you could help somebody out, not that you had to, but that you wanted to out of the kindness of your heart. That's what we need more of on this planet, more people helping people out, less people taking. The third thing is most likely you were believing that that person did have your best interest at heart. In other words, their actions would match the words and that they would keep their word. And that if they told you they loved you, that they meant that. Or if they wanted to enter a relationship, it was going to be a reciprocal relationship. We now know nothing, and I mean nothing, can be further from the truth. These people, the toxic narcissistic individual or energy vampire, these people just want to take as much as they can from you. And you're understanding that now. You're getting the wisdom. You are now becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered. But I will tell you, that narcissistic relationship, it almost took you down for the count. Why? Because it was supposed to take you down for the count. The narcissist did not, A, ever want you to figure out who they were. B, discover narcissism. C, put yourself back together. D, break the trauma bond. And E, heal. These are instrumental and pivotal parts of the narcissistic relationship, post-relationship. This is when, let's say you were discarded, and if you were, my heart goes out to you. If you ended it yourself, meaning you exited the relationship on your own accord, my heart still goes out to you. But either way, if one of those things happened, and it probably did because you made it this far in the video, what that means is that you had to get a light bulb moment, or you had to type into the search engine or YouTube something like spouse won't talk to me, or rage fit, or poor behavior, or person acting like a petulant child. And then lo and behold, you found some information, and that led you down the rabbit hole of discovery, and lo and behold, here you go. You're on my channel or other channels. You're getting the wisdom. You're now understanding that you weren't prepared for that relationship you entered because you weren't taught narcissism in school. And you also were understanding that not only were you oversharing and giving to a fault, but you didn't have boundaries. And anytime you try to put a boundary in place, it would be decimated. The narcissist would just poo-poo it or laugh at you or say, sure, I understand, I'll do that for you. And they won't do anything. And the behavior, the toxic behavior of the narcissist, once they knew they had you, once they knew you told them you loved them or moved in with them or owned the money, whatever, had children with them, that's when they sank their dirty fangs into you officially and they begin to extract all of your resources. Now, I've shared so many illustrations of these throughout the years in my videos. I'm going to get back to silence now. What your silence means to the narcissist, it means you will no longer play the games. You now have the wisdom. You now have the tools. You are now strong enough to implement the tools. You have broken the trauma bond, or you are about to. You understand that every time you communicate with the narcissist in the past, you would get anxious or anxiety, or your energy would be drained, or you would have to dissect the words that they would throw at you. Because every time the narcissist opens their mouth, there are cryptic messages there. You just didn't know it back then because you didn't know what you were up against. But now that you're applying the tools and the wisdom, you know that every time they say things, it could mean 10 different things. It's not like an average human being. When you communicate with them, if they say the sky is blue, well, that person means the sky is blue. Should use the gray analogy for this video because of the background. But if you said that to the narcissist, they would most likely not agree with you and tell you it's many different shades of blue or gray, whatever you want to call it. That's how the narcissist uses their words, and that's how they pillage through your words. They don't take your words at face value. They twist them around any way you want to. So, as the thumbnail mentions, what does your silence mean to the narcissist? It means you see through the mask. You know who you are. You know you've conquered something that you didn't even know you were in. You know that you defeated an opponent that you didn't even know you were up against. You now understand that you are in an arena of devastation, of destruction, of lies, manipulation, and miscommunication and untruths. And now you've exited that arena. And the person that's stuck in that arena, in that little loop, it's not you, it's a narcissist. And they have now glommed onto other unsuspecting individuals, most likely, i.e. the new supply or new sources of supply. And they've now inserted those people in this little cycle that goes around and around, but you're out of it, or you're getting out of it, or you're removing yourself from it. And that was a very, very tall task to accomplish, but you did it, or you're doing it. And there were moments that you couldn't sleep, moments that you couldn't process things. You probably were having carnal screams in the middle of the night, or losing weight or gaining weight, or you couldn't wrap your head around what was going on. What was going on was you were trying to break the trauma bond, whether you knew it or not. And the trauma bond is almost as if you are taking a drug. Now, I don't do drugs, I never have, I never will, but it's almost as if you're withdrawing from a drug. And that is something that you weren't prepared for, because each and every day you were in the toxic narcissistic relationship, they were administering this drug to you and you were absorbing it, but you didn't know it. That's why so frequently you were being taken high and dropped low, high and low, and pushed away and pulled back in. The push, pull, high, low. It's like a roller coaster of emotions. It is meant to keep you stuck in that loop of destruction, that loop of manipulation. This is a place that I call the narcissistic fog. It can also be called the devaluation stage, whatever you want to label it, it's fine with me. What I'm sharing is you were existing in a place that you did not even know existed, and that was your life. Because every day you were being gaslit, every day you were being stonewalled, every day you were being given the silent treatment, every day you were experiencing toxic behavior, rage fits, the loss of money, the mistreating of yourself by the narcissist, the invalidating you, the triangulation, my least favorite that these creatures administer to people. The narcissist has a huge toolbox, an arsenal, if you will, of weapons to apply to unsuspecting individuals. And what they do is they administer these very meticulously, very insidiously, very slowly, until they get that person where they want them to be. And then they begin to extract the resources from them. And that was you. It was definitely me. And it's not until you figure out that, wow, something is changing in this relationship and it's not helping me out. This one person who claimed they loved me, they're not even around anymore. They're taking weekend getaways, claiming that they're taking courses or they're disappearing. They're on their phone at 2, 3, and 4 o'clock in the morning, one of their 3 smartphones. They are now laughing at any words I say. If I try to connect with them and have an adult conversation, they blow me off, or they just say, you're so weak. Like, get over yourself. Like, what's the problem? Can't you just have thicker skin? What's the problem? What's the big deal? I knew I shouldn't have married you. I knew you can't live without me. So many people want to be with me. Go get help. You need to see a therapist. They'll say things like that, and they'll devalue you, and they will pepper you with verbal abuse, financial abuse, spiritual abuse, emotional abuse, every way possible, sometimes even physical abuse. And when they do these things, you're doubting yourself because you don't know what you're up against and you can't communicate with another individual about it because they can't wrap their head around it, because the person they see, the person you married, which is the narcissist is batting their eyelashes and they're glowing the rosy cheeks to everybody on the exterior world while you are enduring the abuse behind closed doors or in cars or when nobody's around. That's how it's meant to go. The cycle is meant to go around and around and around. And whether you were discarded or you ended it, like I mentioned earlier, you were meant to be kept in that cycle. You were meant to be kept as a Ken doll or a Barbie doll and put up on a shelf so the narcissist at a later date could come back and play with you, because the narcissist didn't want you to break the trauma bond. They wanted you pining for them. They wanted you thinking about them. They did not want you to heal. They did not want you to learn about narcissism. They did not want you to grow and to move forward. They wanted to keep you stuck in that low vibrational quagmire state where they exist. And what they wanted to do was capture your beautiful, bright, shining light. And yes, you do have one. And you have an enormous, beautiful, bright, shining light within you if you made it this far in the video. And pay this video forward to help other people who don't even know the relationship they're in. Maybe it will open up their eyes, they'll get the first light bulb moment. But getting back to the point, the narcissist wanted to capture your beauty, your physical beauty, your mental beauty, your emotional beauty, all of your abundance that you possess. And they did so, and they exchanged the energetic exchange with you. They kept you trapped in that dungeon-like, trance-like state where they exist. And then they went out into the world and glowed because they are vibrating a little bit higher when you were with them, because they stole your energy. But again, a funny thing happens along the way. What happens is, post-relationship, you begin to heal. You begin to learn that every moment away from the narcissist is a moment you're getting stronger. And the narcissist is becoming nothing but a tiny little speck of dirt. That's what they're becoming. They're becoming less and less and less. And that one person that you believed was the best person to be in a relationship with, whether it was a friendship, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, lover, whomever, that one person who was so important to you for that length of that relationship, for most of it that is, they now become less than nothing. They become a speck, a blip on the radar. But what they do become is the catalyst for what will change you. Because now when you heal and when you understand that you had to go through that relationship, there was no other way, and that your silence is empowering, and that you've changed, you're now entering the third version of you, the most galvanized version of you known to humankind, a version of you that you did not know existed, but yet here you are, because you have healed childhood wounds, you've journaled, you've seen a therapist, you've meditated, you've slowed your life down, you have the ability to just be now. You're not running around all over the place working for the narcissist. And when this happens, that's when you begin to heal. And you begin to heal at a more and more rapid rate. You sincerely do. Because you're not doing things for a person who doesn't care about you. You're not trying to please a person who will give you a breadcrumb of fake anything. You're now placing your energy within yourself. And when you do that, and your cup gets full, and you heal, then you understand that, wow, I am either at the pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, or I'm approaching that pinnacle of indifference. And that's when all the abundance happens for you. That's when the doors open. That's when the possibilities are in front of you. That's when new relationships you will enter. That's when you will fall in love. That's when you'll build new friendships. That's when you will relocate halfway around the globe. That's when you will get a new start. That's when you will grow your hair longer or cut it shorter, or you will get in shape again. That's when you will reclaim your hobbies. That's when you will understand that just because somebody wants something from you doesn't mean you have to provide it. In other words, let's say empathy or time. Well, maybe you have more time now and empathy, and I'm sure you have both now. But just because somebody wants it from you doesn't mean you have to say yes, because you now have boundaries. You're not a people pleaser. You're not a yes person. And you understand that your energy is priceless. It is worth its weight in any commodity you want to place it. And the narcissist knew this. Now, going back, the narcissist wanted you to always explain to them where you were, what you were doing, who you were with. And you were a walking apology. You were a unpaid helper, etc. But what you weren't back then when you were in the relationship is you weren't silent. You were doing anything you possibly could to maintain that relationship, while the narcissist was trying to continue to have that relationship fall apart, because they don't care. They never did, they never have, and they never will. And that's the same with the new supply, whoever they're with right now. Or multiple sources of supply by now. Who knows? Who cares? What I'm sharing with you is what your silence means to the narcissist. It's that you've healed, or you're healing. But more importantly, it's that you get the message. The game is up, the jig is up, the news is out. We now understand that these people are crawling all over the planet. And they don't deserve 1 minute of our attention or energy. They really don't. And when you've healed properly and come across the bridge to the pinnacle of indifference where I am, you'll understand that your energy is priceless. And you have come through something that most people, A, don't come through, B, they don't experience firsthand. C, they don't heal from. And D, they don't understand that they are the priority, that they are so valuable and loved and cherished on this planet. And that's exactly how I feel about you. I want you to get to where I am. That's exactly why I do what I do. Because you see, when I was isolated all alone, I didn't have anybody to lean on. I didn't have one person. I had nothing but myself and the four walls of the house. And I had to do it during a pandemic, detached retina, multiple knee surgeries, credit card debt up to my eyeballs, and I was left for dead on the side of the road, crumbled up like a sheet of paper thrown away. And yeah, that's a fact. Having said that, most likely you are or were in a similar situation. And it's not a fun place to be when all your alleged friends turn out to be flying monkeys or people that don't care about you, and they actually grab their popcorn and watch your life implode from the sidelines. But what those people don't realize is eventually something like that will happen to them. Maybe not the narcissistic relationship, but everybody's life goes sideways eventually, every single one of ours. It's just a matter of time. And I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, hope that nobody, and I mean nobody, ever has to go through a narcissistic relationship ever again. I sincerely do. Some of us had to go through it. Some of us had to really dig in as deep as we possibly could to heal properly and to understand that there was no other way. We had to go through this, but that our silence is worth its weight in any commodity you want. We don't have to defend ourselves, explain ourselves. We don't give the smear campaign any energy. We do nothing but invest in ourselves, and we pay it forward when we can. So what your silence means to the narcissist, it means you're healing or you've healed. It means you get the message. It means that despite everything they try to do to take you down and knock you out for the count, they failed. Just like they fail in everything they do miserably. The narcissist is nothing but a leech. They're nothing but a person to glom onto other people and take from them. They're a parasite, if you will, and they know it. They're hollow, they're shallow, they're empty. They need to steal other people's words. They need to steal other people's identities, thoughts, businesses, families, creations, everything. There is no originality to the narcissist. There never has been and there never will be. These walking parasitic creatures, they need to stay away from you. And if you have boundaries in place now and you've understood that that person that you're in a relationship with, they never had your best interest at heart, and they never will. When you understand that and you heal and you really dig into yourself, you will now be a changed person forever. So silence is a huge part of the healing path. It really is. Think about this. When you were in the relationship, you were being silenced by the narcissist. And now post-relationship, you are using silence as a means of insulation for yourself. It means if people understand you, great. If they don't, great. Not everyone's going to follow your footsteps. Not everyone's going to understand what you went through. As a matter of fact, most people won't. You in the community, you do know because you're going through it or you have gone through it. And that's why you're a valuable, loved person in the community, because you are continuing to become awakened and aware and educated, and you're sharing your experiences in the community. That's what you should be doing. Think about this one before I close the video. If you've gone through the narcissistic abusive cycle and you've conquered it and you've come out through the other end and risen through the ashes like a phoenix like I have, if you've done that, you're changed forever. Why would you not pay it forward and help other people out who perhaps don't even know they're in a toxic relationship? All you have to do is just share a video or perhaps give them a little bit of wisdom. You don't have to call out people and call them narcissists and all those things. You could just say, you know, I understand that you're having a difficult time, and it seems to me that the common denominator could be your spouse, as an example, your friend or coworker. And you just let them know that you're watching and you're observing. You don't interfere. It's not your business. But maybe you could say something to them, just a little something to open their eyes. And maybe it won't resonate with them in the moment, but maybe it will in a week, a month, a year. Maybe they'll say, oh, that's what that person meant. That's what they were trying to tell me. Because that's how to pay it forward sometimes. It's not get in people's lives and stir up drama and manipulation like the narcissist. It's to keep your distance, do what you're doing, stay silent, watch people, observe them. And if you can help somebody out, even just a little bit, I suggest doing it. Do it when your cup is full, though. Don't do it just to do it. Guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. And what your silence means to the narcissist, it means game over. Checkmate. When I entered, or you entered that relationship, they had the advantage throughout the whole relationship, including the discard, because you never saw that coming, did you? Of course you didn't. But what happened along the way? I'll tell you what happened. Somewhere, somebody gave you a little hint, a little breadcrumb that perhaps this wasn't your fault, and you were manipulated, and you were in the most challenging and trying relationship known to humankind, the narcissistic relationship. Then you Googled something, or you went on YouTube and you had a light bulb moment. Perhaps you even kneeled down on the ground and cried your eyes out because you couldn't believe that there was actually a name for this thing. There is. That's why you're in the community. And then you began to introspect and went down different rabbit holes of discovery. And now here you are. You're understanding that evil does walk the planet, but it no longer will be around you because you now use your silence as a superpower. Guys, I hope you liked the video. I love doing it. I love the rain. And I love to say that I've reclaimed my love for rain again. It's a very big thing for me. Love you all. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. Namaste. God bless you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.